Welcome to Business Reporter's Best of British Business campaign. I'm Rachel Hicks. Higher education is one of the UK's strongest brands. Oxford University topped the list of the Times Higher Education World University Rankings in 2022. Cambridge came in at 5th place, and there are several other prestigious UK institutions in the top 20. So no wonder students the world over want to come and study in the UK. However, the academic, logistical and cultural changes they face can often seem daunting, even insurmountable. But they don't have to be. Today we're talking to Mike Strickland and Daniel Posner, co-founders of Avernus Education, a UK education consultancy firm that helps international students choose a career, ace their admission tests and thrive at British universities. Tell me, how attractive are UK universities for overseas students, especially compared to perhaps European or American institutions?
Really very attractive. I think they remain the gold standard in international education, and the numbers, the figures testify to this. And last year, upwards of 700,000 international students were studying at UK universities. So it's very attractive. It's a trend as well that I think is going to continue, is going to grow for a few reasons. Firstly, there's just no substitute for the tradition of academic rigour that these institutions have. Combine that with the history, the geography, the location of a lot of these universities. Secondly, I think British degree work is specific. You're able to specialise in your choice of degree, and there's some fantastic academic departments at universities around the UK. And thirdly, when you look at the duration of these degrees and the cost, I think that's a huge factor. The USA, for example, the degrees are longer and more expensive before you've even started. I think parents in this particular climate are looking for value for money, and I think British universities can provide that. They're in vogue, they're well positioned, and as I said, I think the trend of international students studying in the UK is set to continue.
Daniel, what are the main obstacles for overseas students coming to study here?
The first obstacle I'd mention is the sheer numbers of people applying to the UK. It means that the numbers of these application pools can be very large indeed. And we're really keen to help navigate students' applications so that they can stand out from these great numbers of applicants. And the second point I'd say is to do with the complexity of the application process itself. If you're not based in the UK and you're just looking at this online, it can seem quite daunting from start to finish, whether that includes written submissions, things like personal statements, or indeed for some subjects, even an interview, the paperwork that goes with that, visa applications, knowing where to apply in the first place. These are things that can muddy the waters of the application process. So it's a very complex endeavour indeed. And the third point I'd mention would be the cultural difference that can arise if you're not familiar with the landscape of universities in the UK. It's definitely worth mentioning because these are places ultimately that these students will live for 3, 4 or even longer years as they study. So it's really helpful to have guidance throughout that process.
What is Avernus Education's solution to this? How do you help?
We effectively enable them to navigate all of those complexities. So we help students succeed and gain a competitive advantage. We call it getting the edge. And we do very much believe that students, if they get the right advice at the right time, can get ahead of the field, get ahead of their peers and maximise their existing portfolio. So we work with lots of students that are looking to apply to the top universities, if you like. So a lot of what we do is give them the academic support and the foundations that they need to take that forward. But ultimately, we're working with students and their parents to allow them to develop a passion. Now, this is really important. We're obviously aware that many students don't end up going to Oxford, Cambridge, and in actual fact, that's not the right fit for them. So partly through our mentorship model, our individualised student pathways that we provide, we're able to work with students from a very young age to help them develop an interest, foster that and turn that into a passion. And that's absolutely what we do. It's education beyond the classroom, working with students to maximise what they already have with sort of that passion driving things and shaping the manner of the personalised pathway that we're able to support students with.
So, Daniel, paint a picture for me. How does your process work for, say, a typical student?
Yeah, so the first thing is, I think, worth noticing that there is no typical student at Avernus Education. We work with all sorts of students who are at different stages on that educational journey. So on the younger end, we have students as young as 9 and 10 who are looking to get perhaps more confidence in English. They're looking to develop passion in subjects and maybe even try things that they haven't had the opportunity yet to experience. You know, if your parents might want you to become a doctor later down the line, you might not have considered some of the humanities and arts subjects that actually might turn out to be your passion. So we really like to work with younger students to develop their interest in things that they may not have previously considered. Further on down the line, they might consider coming to one of our residential camps. This is a great opportunity, both in the UK or one of our face-to-face pop-ups in Hong Kong and China. It's a great opportunity to meet our mentors and our experts face-to-face, to try and get some of their wisdom, some of their own experience to rub off on our students and really spark an interest in some of these fields. So alongside our core university support, we offer all sorts of different extra provisions that are really suitable for any kinds of student.
Okay, so you're not the only provider of this sort of assistance and service. What sets you apart?
Yes and no to that. There are, of course, a lot of other companies that offer online tuition or even assist with school placement. But as Dan said, the sort of comprehensive support that we provide, the personalised approach, and the very the different layers of services that pupils, their parents can access really sets us apart. And I think a lot of other companies, slightly more supermarkets for hours of tuition in maths or science, whereas what we do is very different. From onboarding with Avernus, we take you on that journey. We take you down that pathway that is bespoke, that is individualised to yourself. And through that, that's where the bigger picture comes in. That's where we can really work on your personality, your passion, how you're going to stand out from the crowd. And that's what we do a lot of at Avernus Education. And we help students understand that so they can make informed decisions as well as to what they need to be doing, what needs to go in the bag, if you like, the shopping bag at the right time, at the right moments, in that melting pot to succeed.
So how many students have you helped so far?
We've worked with lots of students from across the world, and it's really worth mentioning that there is no one kind of student that we work with at Avernus Education. Every student's dream is different, and every student works in a different way and will benefit from a different kind of learning environment. So we're able to help a variety of different students in different ways and really meet them where their needs are.
So is this really just a service for rich kids?
Not at all. We completely understand the challenges posed financially by furthering education in different areas. So we work very closely with families to identify flexible payment plans. We've got a really exciting range of products and services at different prices so that it can be accessible. But perhaps more importantly, we try and target students who are eligible for possibly bursary places, scholarship opportunities. As an example, in one of our residential courses this summer, we've offered completely free bursary assessed places to 3 students from the Ukraine, 1 student from Cambodia, and another from the Middle East. So we absolutely try and work with families to understand their position, and say their dreams as well, and try and make that a reality, and putting financial considerations to one side wherever possible.
So if I were a parent in China, let's say, and I want my child to get into a prestigious UK establishment, what 3 tips would you give me?
The first 2 tips that I'd suggest to any parent who might want their child to come and study in the UK one day is firstly to start early. I think because it's a complicated process, it's a long process, getting in early, working out where you might want to one day send your child to study, but also the ways that you can develop passion is a long process. And so as soon as possible is often the advice that we give to many parents. And the second piece of advice I'd give is be prepared to prepare. Do seek guidance, because it's not the kind of process that you can maybe just Google last minute at the end. Finding the right fit for your child is a key consideration that does take exploring lots of different avenues. So starting early and seeking guidance, these are really key components of that journey.
And just to add on to that, I think, as we've been saying, the importance of students demonstrating a genuine interest in their subject, in their possible career. We've called it passion, and we do help students to get the edge and get ahead and discover what that is. We help them explore, we help them dream, we help them through this journey, wherever they might join us, maximise what they have. So prepare early, seek advice from experts, and do everything you can to develop a passion and an interest in your chosen field.
Mike Strickland, Daniel Posner from Avernus Education, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.